Hey man, how's it going? This is video number 2 about the SEALfit 20X experience. If this is your first video, let me say quickly, again, I am not affiliated with SEALfit, 20X, Mark Divine, or any associated companies, trademarks, logos, anything like that. I'm speaking of my own recognizance. I'm not a paid endorser of any kind, and any affiliate links that you happen to find in the description will just be between myself and Amazon. They have nothing to do with SEALfit. All opinions expressed are my own. So, having said that, preparation for 20X. Number 1, 20X, if you go to the website, you will see is listed as a 12 to 14 hour event. They are not bullshitting you. Plan on 14 hours. When you are in your head thinking about this event, when you are doing your training, assume 14 hours. Mine went about 13 and a half. Take everything they say on that site seriously. They are not dicking with you. They have your success and your safety in mind. Remember, this is not SEAL training. This is 20X or XL or Kokoro, whatever. But it is not SEAL training. It is not combat training. Please do not get that into your mind. You will be crawling through a bunch of dirt and shit and getting wet and sandy and all that kind of stuff, but you're not like learning tactics. If you're lucky, you might get to learn some patrolling, which is what I did with Coach Haggerty, which is a story we'll tell in a little bit. But this is not a combat or weapons-focused event. This is a grueling 12 to 14 hour physical and mental crucible. So take anything they say on the website seriously. If you haven't already, I also recommend getting on the SEALfit Facebook page and joining that group. It's a closed group, but I believe they'll let anybody in. Great group of people, great group of coaches there talking to each other, giving tips and advice and things like that, and just a really great place to ask questions and meet people and stuff. Check that out on Facebook. Okay, so SEALfit does have, as I understand it, does have a component of CrossFit. Now, I've never done CrossFit, but I've read about it and I've studied it a little bit. If you are someone who goes to the gym 3 or 4 times a week for a half hour to 60 minutes each time, and you feel like, I'm fit, I can do some CrossFit or whatever, that's great. It will not get you through 20X. I'm glad you have that basis. I'm glad you have that foundation, but it is not going to get you through 20X, okay? 20X is a long, hard slog punctuated by brief periods of intense terror and output. I'm kidding about the terror, for the most part. Yes, you need to have cardio. You absolutely have to have cardio, but more than cardio, you need to grind. Hopefully by this point you have heard the term grinder, as in grinder PT or grinder physical training. That's what this is. It is a grinder. It's a long, hard ruck. That's what you need to be prepared for. So the first thing I would recommend anybody do, regardless of these 3 events, whichever of the 3 events you're interested in, is to always train outdoors. Now, there are exceptions, of course. If the hurricane's coming in or whatever, if it's not safe to drive, then don't do that. And, obviously be smart about it. But most of the time, like 80-90% of the time, you should be training outdoors, because guess where 20X takes place? Right? So being in a nice air-conditioned gym with your towel, and your water bottle, and no, don't. It's not going to be like that. You are going to be dirty. You are going to be sucking down dust. You're going to be getting sprayed in the face with hose water. You are going to be sitting in ice baths. You are going to be hot or freezing. Depends on which time of the year you go. Your feet are going to be wet all day long, no matter what you do to stop it. So you have to train the way you're going to perform. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. Now, having said that, the good news is you don't need to spend a lot of money for this. I do recommend, and everybody else, all the other people in SEALfit will tell you the same thing, get the proper boots and get them now and break those fuckers in. Do it now. Don't do it the week of camp. Break them in now. Get the BDU pants, buy those now, and start wearing them when you do your workout, because guess what? That's what you will be working out in. That's what you'd be doing the training in. You're going to need a rucksack of some kind of backpack. Now, you can get a fancy one or a GoRuck or whatever, and that's cool. Feel free. I myself got the cheap-ass Rothko just piece of backpack that I'm surprised even lasted this long. In fact, as soon as I got it, if you read the reviews for it, they'll tell you this shit's going to break as soon as you unpack it. It's true. Like, I got it out, and I was like, oh, cool, and like clipped 2 of the little buckles together, and it immediately broke. And I'm like, what? It's a piece of but it'll carry a 40-pound sandbag. That's all it needs to do. You don't need to do a lot of weights. In fact, I personally, do what you got to do. But I would, if I was your coach, I would say don't worry about doing weights personally. Now, SEALfit does, and 8 Weeks to SEALfit, the book, has weight stuff. Cool, follow that if that's what you want to do. But the best advice I got was from a guy named Herb, who you will meet on Facebook if you're not there already. Herb had actually been in my part of the country for a little while, so he knew where I lived and knew the area. And this is what he told me, and this is what changed my entire perception of what SEALfit and 20X was going to be. He said, get your backpack, get your ruck, put a 40-pound sandbag in it, and walk around that park by your house. I was like, oh, okay, cool, I can do that. He's like, and maybe you have one of these near your home somewhere. We have these exercise stations every 100 yards or whatever, pull-ups and dips and sit-ups and push-ups, all this kind of stuff. He's like, stop at every exercise station and do 20, 30, 40, 50 reps of whatever that exercise is, and then hurry to the next one. And then do, again, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever, and just keep doing that. And I was like, okay, now I'm starting to think, that's a lot of work. Holy shit. And then he says, so do that for about 5 hours. I'm like, get the like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's the level of output? And he's just like, yep. So if that gave you a little squirt of adrenaline of like, oh my God, what am I signing up for? Yeah, it should, because that's what you're signing up for. CrossFit, super great, good for you. I'm not saying don't do it. I am saying as you train, prepare, and don't do 5 hours of this every day. I'm not saying that, but maybe once a week, maybe once every 10 days or so, work in some very long, hard, grinding slogs, rucking. Get that 40, 50 pounds on your back. All you really need is a place to do pull-ups, and that's just for the Murph, frankly, and a backpack or a ruck that will not fall apart. I would say 40 pounds of sandbag. You can make a fancy one. You can buy one. I don't recommend that either. I say just go out to... make your own and put it in there and carry one of those big gallon, like square gallon things of water, shove that in there, chuck some fucking powdered Gatorade into it. Not cold, because it's not going to be cold at 20X. Shake it up and start walking, my friend. Go upstairs, go downstairs, go do push-ups, do everything you can with this ruck on, because that's what you're going to do. Do a shit ton of planking. Get in that full extension push-up position and stay in it as long as you can. Keep doing that. I don't know if you should do it every day, but you should at least do it every other day. Do it with weight on your back. Because guess what? You're going to get dropped down all day long, man. So you may as well get used to that now. Get that lock in. You do not want to go to your knees, especially when Master Chief is there. There was this whole thing, Mark Divine's Master Chief, who's like a 26-year Navy SEAL vet, just, tough as nails guy, right? I mean, just everything you would expect. Very quiet, very nice, polite, kind of hanging out until it's go time. And then suddenly he's right there in your face going, get off your knees, Leveen, So get off your knees. Yeah, planks, push-ups, all those, it's all body weight stuff is what I'm saying. I wanted to keep these videos kind of short, so I'm going to move on to the next one, and we'll talk a little bit more about other ways to get prepared, okay? So preparation number 2 coming up next.